And speaking of that, I would love to get into your novel, The Undead Truth of Us, which explores themes such as grief, love, and of course, zombies. What inspired you to dive into these particular combination of themes?
Oh my gosh. Well, I've always loved zombies, and I'll also show the book for those of
Yeah, of
you
course.
watching. So The Undead Truth of Us is my debut novel. I love the story so much. It was the first book that I've ever gotten published. And essentially the idea for this book came from my own like inner dialogue and grief with myself, and also just the grief and the toughness of relationships. So I will say one thing about The Undead Truth of Us, it really does explore love in all avenues. So we're talking about friendship love, romantic love, familial love. And for me, it started with romantic love because I just was sitting and thinking to myself, like, I feel I have a lot of crushes on people. I don't know where those crushes end up going. I mean, crushes really are the sense of their name, right? They crush you and they're meant to crush you if they don't work out. But I felt like it wasn't reciprocal a lot. So I asked myself this question, like, what if romantic relationships were a metaphor for zombies, right? When a lot of the times zombies are going after the core things that make you who you are, that make you a human. So they're going after your brain, where you kind of hold all the great things about yourself. And they go after your heart, where we kind of think is a little bit more emotional, our romantic side of ourselves. And so the Undead Truth of Us really does follow 16-year-old Zari Young, who after her mother's super sudden death, just starts seeing these zombies everywhere. And it isn't until she is forced to live with her auntie, where she's just walking the apartment building one day and she runs into Bo, the next door neighbor, and she ends up seeing him as half zombie, half human. And this brings up the question of maybe if she gets to know him better, she'll get to figure out the mystery of what happened to her mom. And while doing this, she ends up learning that love really can change you, for good or for dead in some senses. And so that's my first novel, The Undead Truth of Us. And I had to go with the zombie aspect because, of course, zombies have a really big play on humanity and how we see ourselves and how we see monsters. But also, I've always loved zombie lore. Like, the what was the movie? The Walking Dead TV show like really hooked me in. But then also, Dawn of the Dead was one of the first big zombie movies that I loved growing up. And so that's kind of like my ode to them.
World War Z's too. That was good.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
good.
So